But as well as making the tax system more competitive, we need to make it fairer. When times are difficult, we want to give people more of a stake in this economy. And I believe it's right that people on low and middle incomes should be helped through the tax system, and that is why at the budget I will be announcing a substantial increase in the personal income tax allowance. And our longer-term goal is to raise the allowance to £10,000, with real-term steps in that direction each year. This will ensure that millions of people pay less tax. It'll send a message that if you put the effort in, you get a job, and you earn yourself an income, you will keep more of your money. And I also believe that the same principle must apply to those who invest in new businesses and create jobs. So while we will increase the rates of capital gains tax for non-business assets, there will be generous relief, and I mean generous relief, for entrepreneurial investment in businesses, as has been made clear in the coalition agreement. Third and finally, this coalition government understands that enterprise needs much more than just the freedom to compete. We have a radical programme to tackle the underlying structural problems that have been holding Britain back for far too long. We want to be far more than just deficit cutters. We want to lay the foundations of a more prosperous and a fairer economy that works for everyone. So we will launch a programme of radical education reform under Michael Gove. Vince Cable and David Willits will ensure our universities are among the best in the world for decades to come. Ian Duncan Smith and David Freud will reform our welfare system so that we reward work and support those who need help. And Chris Yoon, Jeremy Hunt and Philip Hammond will ensure that we attract the right mix of public and private investment in Britain's creaking energy, broadband and transport infrastructure. Next week, in the Queen's speech, you will see a truly ambitious agenda, the scale of which I don't think that most people have yet appreciated. And at its heart is the understanding that it's not government ministers who will create the jobs we need. You will create these jobs. Let me finish by saying this, that despite all the challenges this country faces, I am profoundly optimistic about our future. As a country, we have spectacular opportunities ahead of us. We have reasons to be cheerful. There is a prize out there for the taking, because every day around the world, in places like China and India and Brazil, Indonesia, Vietnam, people leave the grinding poverty that has trapped their families for centuries, and they become connected to today's global economy. They go to work for low wages in factories, and I know the massive challenge that presents to our businesses here. But from Asia to America, from Eastern Europe to Southern Africa, nations of manufacturers are taking their first step in their journey to prosperity. And as they become richer, they will become nations of consumers, just as we did after our industrial revolution. The middle classes are emerging, and in developing countries, they are expected to treble by 2030. That's 1,200 million people who will want to buy the things that we can sell to them. Modern medicines and branded goods, aircraft engines, high-tech machinery, green vehicles and renewable energy, computer software, television programs, oil and gas expertise, pensions, insurance, advertising, accountancy, and legal services. British goods and services made in Britain, exported around the world. The whole world must be our marketplace. Our whole future depends upon it. So let us tell the world, loud and clear, that Britain is once again open for business. Thank you very much.
New Chancellor George Osborne there giving his first big address to the city at the CBI annual dinner, talking about a few revelations about the negotiations to form a coalition government, also appearing to confirm